Hey guys, it's Paul here with the Ugly Motel. Today's episode is going to be all about installing Ptac units, their boxes, and best practices that we have found when installing them. If you're like us and you're converting from a boiler and chiller system into the packaged thermal air conditioner, you might find this episode especially useful because we're going to talk about everything from the right angle to set it to and ways to make sure that your room stay warm or cold. If you guys do enjoy this kind of material, if you find value in this, please leave us a like and comment down below. If you are subscribed, type subscribe down below. This lets us know what kind of material you guys want to see in the future. Again, thanks and enjoy. All right, let's get started. So you'll notice that we have a lot of the Ptac boxes here. A reason for that is our PIP calls for all of our Ptac grills to match on sides facing this on the east side of the building and all the ones on the north side facing, so we're swapping them out. We do have a couple of these rooms that still don't have Ptacs in them. They were either suites and we're converting them back into single rooms. Or they were just rooms that we haven't had a chance to renovate yet. You can see the electrical had been ran for the Ptac. A lot of them was by the previous owner, but the hole hadn't been punched out yet. And so perfect opportunity for this. I'm sure you're wondering what the actual code is for height off the ground. It's actually 3 inches or more. We decided to go with 6 inches because the previous owner had already done all the Ptacs that he had installed about 6 inches, which also turned out to be where the base plate for this wall was. Right now what we're doing is dry fitting to make sure the hole's big enough, it's good enough to go. It's a pretty tight fit, but we think it should be just fine. So the next piece, of course, is making sure you have a solid surface to screw that box to. So of course we shim out the studding, tie onto the studding that's already there, ship it out with a little bit of OSB and some 2x4s, make sure we have a nice solid piece to tack that box onto. This part isn't stressful or frustrating at all. Now for the fun part. Remember how I said it was snug as a glove before? Well, that new frame we feathered it out with made it even a little bit more snug. So I'd recommend giving yourself, at least an 1/8 of an inch gap, bigger than your box, so that way you can wiggle around a little bit. You're gonna end up caulking around it at the end anyway. So the key here is to just kind of shim it back and forth until it gets in there nice and snug. You can't see, but we're going to cheat here. We're just going to take out a little chunk real quick. Bam! And it goes in like a glove. Alright, now the goal is to put the appropriate angle on it. You're going to want about 1/4 of a bubble on your level. That'll give you enough drainage just in case, for whatever reason, the condensation inside the Ptac unit decides that it can't be evaporated. You don't want it going on your nice new carpet. You want it going out to the hallway or to the sidewalk in our case. So again, the goal here is just kind of tap it in place till you get it exactly where you want it. And then you can set a screw to kind of put that piece in place. We'll do that first on the right and then on the left. If Donnie would get out of my camera, that'd be great. Thanks, Donnie. And of course that could mess up your bubble, so make sure you have somebody else there that's kind of checking in on it for you. You'll see I just pointed to how far out the box is. We go 3 3/4 out from the wall. It's actually kind of up to you and how your hotel's ran, but that's what we're doing. So we need to have a proper walkway outside the rooms. Alright, last but not least, some of you guys might be fancy and buy the actual stand that can go underneath here. They actually sell one. LG does. Black little chunk that'll actually act as a wedge for you. But we use a couple pieces of wood. We're going to tack those in place, a couple of screws just to hold it in place for right now. I actually prefer machine screws so it lines up, but anyhow, I'll just skip that little chunk. And check out our ultra scientific method of making sure that nobody messes up by sitting on top of your Ptac unit. You know they will. Later on, we'll come back through with a little faceplate board and butt that up to it, but that's just to make sure that nobody messes up the bubble you just tried so hard for. On the inside there, you should have 3 screws in the top, 2 screws on each side, and no screws on the bottom. That's between your Ptac box and the actual studs. And then you'll want to put a bead of caulk on the inside and outside of the Ptac box, between the Ptac box and the finishing surface, the drywall, and your siding or whatever. We found this actually does make a huge difference in making sure that the room actually heats up efficiently. Again, we didn't do a lot of the fancy stuff. We didn't do the wireless thermostat or anything like that. But, you know, at the end of the day, every little bit to save money helps, and making sure you do this also prevents people from messing with your Ptacs any more than they really should. So, definitely something I recommend. Alright guys, let's just review real quick the 5 key takeaways about installing Ptacs. Again, it's a really simple process if you do it right. You know, just kind of doing a lot of them, it's kind of made it into this simple breakdown for us. But the most important thing that'll definitely create damage for you in the future if you don't do it is your quarter bubble. You make sure that's pointed out towards the towards your hallway. Again, if you don't do that, you'll end up with water all over the inside of your room. It's a frustration, especially if you're doing. It's just a frustration in general. Again, so 3 inches off the ground. That could either be determined by your the base that you buy for your kit, or if you decide you want to go higher, they actually sell adjustable legs. We decided to go 6 inches just because that's where our stud was and where we had previously done it. 3 3/4 inches into the hallway. So that's kind of the bare minimum recommendation. Some people, if you're going to be on a like a high-rise hotel, I think the minimum is somewhere around 5 inches into the room, and then the rest of it's outside. Obviously, you have to buy your equipment for that. Another really obvious, but you don't think about it until it happens, reinforce the area underneath your box. Some kid or some employee is going to come plop on it. It's going to rip those screws out of the wall. It's going to frustrate you. You have to recock it. It's going to be a pain in the butt. And talking about caulking, you want to make sure that you do that caulking inside and outside of the Ptac box, between the Ptac box and the your drywall and or siding. It's going to make a huge difference in the ability of the Ptac unit to work. One quick thing, I know I didn't really cover it anywhere, but one more random rule of thumb, kind of bonus piece of material here. The way to gauge on what size of Ptac unit you need, you want to kind of go 30 BTUs to every square foot of room space. Our average room space is about 280 square foot. They say that if you're going to get some, ours are all almost all of them are 900 BTU units, but they say to go a little bit smaller. It'll save you more money. It might take a little bit longer for the room to heat up, but it'll save you quite a bit of money on energy efficiency. Something to keep in mind. Also, if you have your Ptacs out, why not just have why not just make a day of it and clean them? Just a thought. If you're going to do it anyway, might as well make sure everything's clean. I'm sure you guys know how to do that. Wire brush really easy. Shop vac obviously. During the spring, we go through and we'll take some air conditioning coil cleaner onto the front and back coils. The more you take care of your Ptac units, the longer you're going to last. I've found that In the beginning, I bought all new Ptacs. Now I stumbled across a website called Ptacs for Less. It's literally like $300 a Ptac unit. If somebody would have told me that, in the beginning of this 7 years ago, I would have saved probably $100,000. I mean, they really add up. $1,000 a pop, $1,200 a pop, versus $300 a pop. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like if you did. Please subscribe. Most of our videos are tutorial type stuff, but if you like that kind of thing, leave a comment below. If it's been helpful, please leave a comment below. Check out our YouTube channel. Thank you.